All right, I got 2:01. So according to my father, if you're 1 minute late, you are out of time. So congratulations, everybody, for joining. Appreciate everybody taking the time. My name is Lester Morales, and I will be your master of ceremonies. And I am ridiculously excited about this. For a couple of reasons. One, this is the first webinar under our new brand, Transparent Health Benefits. And if anybody follows me on anything or has talked to me, you know that's my word, that's my phrase for all of the things that obviously in a health benefits plan can get us to a state of having some more transparency. And obviously with transparency comes better decision making and better results. So this entire THB brand is intended to market, and not market from a sales standpoint, market from the opportunity of making sure that both advisors and employers understand the features, the strategies, the service providers, and everything in between that is actually going into transparent health benefits. In regards to this webinar series, we are using the COVID-19. I don't call it COVID-19 because we are using the COVID-19 kind of strategic approach. One, in the fact that we are in a new norm. I hope nobody watching this right now actually thinks that this is going to be a little bit of an impact. We were actually prepping before this, and Jessica was sharing the unemployment numbers, and I'll have her share them. It's unbelievable in regards to what the unemployment numbers are right now. And as advisors, everybody on this phone absolutely has an obligation to play your part. You could look at it from one end, and like my good buddy Jim Blachek always says, without employees, we have no business. So whether you think of your own employees in this conversation, when you think of the employees of your clients, the reality of it is, if you want to be in selfish and intent, employees equals revenue for you. If you want to take it on the other end and say, nobody at this point do we want being unemployed in a job market that is going to have 20, potentially 30% unemployment. So some housekeeping rules for this event. You are being recorded, not your camera, of course, but you are part of this event, and this event is being recorded. If you look at the little icon of Zoom, it has a Q&A feature. As we all know, there's no way we would open everybody's mic because somebody would put us on hold and it would be super annoying. So we're going to just use the Q&A feature. So you hit that little icon, you put a question. We will answer any questions that we don't get to live, but we will stop for a Q&A feature. The follow-up you will get, it would allow you to download the presentation and listen to the replay if you want. Part of this THB is a very Jerry Maguire type of an approach, and it's a help me, help you. Obviously, if you're on this call, you do truly believe that moving this industry is going to come with added transparency. And so every other week, we are going to release another webinar, and it's going to go in staggered with advisors being invited and employers being invited. You can actually get involved in the employer portion of it. So if you saw that you got an email from me, next week, these emails are gonna be able to be sent to employers, and you can actually participate. If you see there where it says Morales, we, for people who wanna participate, can actually make that live and changeable, so you could put your last name on there. Your client, your prospect will never know that it's coming from anybody other than you, and when they land on the landing page and hopefully register for the event, we will be able to track that and give you that information. So again, all about helping all of us change this business, and part of changing this business is getting more people on board. So without further ado, I'm gonna really talk about this mindset of getting started with this, that again, you cannot approach right now with the same mindset that you had before. So some of this is going to be helping you think about some of the thought leadership, the sales enablement, and the strategic insight of how do you get the message out using this as a catalyst, but using this to springboard us into a new norm, a new opportunity to educate, train, and really move the needle in regards to what employers are doing in their health plans. It's really going to be focused around a couple of cost containment features. And as we know, we'll talk about those in future. So today's topic is really about where do we even start? And it cannot start with anybody, inclusive of you and your client, having the same mindset that we had previously. And so as we look at this, we're going to walk through mindset. We're going to walk through branding and sales. And we're going to walk through what I thought was amazing, some of the tactics that you could do in helping your employer that's actually helping their employees, and by all of that, selfishly helping you. And so my two esteemed partners in crime here, and Andy's hair might be as long right now as it is in that photo, are going to introduce themselves. But here's where I want to kind of lay the level set. With the realities of where we're at right now, the changing of the unemployment, you are the leader in what you need to be doing. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to ask our speakers, one, to introduce themselves, but two, to give you the number one thing, if you're taking notes from what their session is, what you should be listening to. So Andy, I'm a boy from the South, so I am going to let ladies first, if you don't mind. So Miss Jessica, give us your intro, and what's the number one thing people should be thinking about when you're listening to you?
Thanks, Lester. I am Jessica Waltman, and I am basically an employee benefit compliance consultant for hire. So I work with brokers and their employer clients, and I help them answer all these tricky questions. And lately, all I've been doing is all COVID-19 all the time. So all these new regulations, guidance, programs, that's what I have been working on. And so today, I am going to talk to all of you on the call. Thank you so much for being on here today, because I am worried about the impact that this is having on our economy and our industry. And so I want to give you some techniques to reach out to your employer clients and help them save their employees' jobs, their businesses, their benefit plans, and by extension, your revenue and your business, and give you some tools to help make that happen.
Perfect, perfect. Again, this is what's great about being a leader in our business. We can have a little bit of selfish intent, but with this selfish intent, we're helping others and helping carry on our mission. The man who needs no introduction, Mr. Andy Neary, tell us what you're going to be talking about, what people should take from this.
Yeah. Hey guys, Andy here. Coach, consultant, founder of Major League Mindset. I work with advisors basically to get more crap done in less time doing what they love. And I help just like many of you on this call, I help employers reduce their health insurance costs. My one thing today, Lester, is this, especially with what we're going through, but even before and well after, he or she who communicates the best and the most will win in our market. So I'm excited to share with you guys how you can step up and stand out so that you win more business.
So communicate the best and the most. And what's awesome about that, guys, I have worked with Andy myself. He gives me free critique whenever he tells me my shirt's ugly or whatever. But the reality of this, what's awesome about what Andy is going to talk about, it has nothing to do with trying to pretend that you are somebody that you're not. It is all about staying what I would call in your lane and making sure that you're telling an authentic story. And so I always love hearing Andy's spiel. So without further ado, Andy, walk us through your approach and what you want everybody to think and take from this.
Cool, Lester, sounds good. I'm going to actually start with a story. I'm not going to bore you with the whole story, but I am going to share with you why I am telling you the story. Lester, if you can move the slide ahead. This was me, guys, about 20 years ago. I was pitching in the Milwaukee Brewers organization. That is actually an official 1980s Milwaukee Brewers jersey. When you are playing for the Helena Brewers, you got the hand-me-downs. So those were, in fact, if you got some diehard baseball fans, I literally wore Cal Eldred's jersey. He was a pitcher for the Brewers in the 80s. I got the hand-me-down in the year 2000. But here's why I share this story with you guys. Guys, I excelled at the sport of baseball in little league, high school, college, which gave me the opportunity to play professional baseball. But something happened when I got to pro ball. This happened. And I started comparing myself to everybody. I just wanted to fit in. And I got away from all the basic things that made me successful in the sport. And that's why my pro baseball career lasted as short as it did. And so the reason I share that with you right now is, as an advisor in this industry, he or she who communicates the best is going to win right now. But why most people don't do it, especially on platforms like social media, is you're comparing yourself to others. You fear judgment from other people, or you are just trying to fit in and do what everybody else in the market is doing. And so today I want to teach you how you can overcome that. If you can go ahead to the next slide, Lester. There are 3 reasons right now. In fact, keep clicking. There you go. Here's what we all want, guys. If you guys know the 6 basic human needs out there, Tony Robbins talks about them all the time. It's certainty. We all want some certainty in our life, especially right now. But we actually also crave uncertainty in our life. We want growth, significance, love, and contribution. But when I think about our industry and I think about advisors in our industry, I think what a lot of us want, especially with sales, is some certainty. We definitely want growth in our sales. And when it comes to our industry, especially now, I think we all want a little significance in the industry, right? You see some of your peers jumping on covers of magazines, being up nominated for Brokers of the Year, all that stuff goes into it, right? So why do we need this stuff right now more than ever? Lester, if you can move ahead. This is why. When I talk to advisors right now, 9 out of 10 times, it is not, I need help closing business. I don't know how to close business. Most of you on this call, I guarantee, are good at closing business. In fact, I will even argue you're probably better than me at closing business. But what most of you will say 9 times out of 10 is, I don't have enough opportunity. Only if I had more prospects. Only if I got more chances. Now, here is why you need more opportunities and why it's been a struggle for you. Number 1, there is a ton of noise in the industry. We're all saying the same things. We're all talking about the same things. Listen, I love giving you this analogy. People are marching around and they're talking about DPC, RBP, HRAs, HSAs, DPC, OMG, guys. We're all talking about the same stuff right now. Number 2, Lester, move ahead. Whether you think you're different, we all think we have some competitive advantage right now. Guess what? The problem is your prospects don't think you're different. We all look like this sheep in this picture. And this is the 3rd problem I want to help you address. Move ahead, Lester. No one knows who you are. If you're not putting the time in to create this awareness of who you are, nobody's going to know. And here's the deal, guys. You move ahead, Lester. It comes down to this. Getting more opportunities is about who knows you, who likes you, and who trusts you. Nobody can like you or trust you if they don't know who you are. Now, let me share a quick little story about where my epiphany came with this, guys. When Amy and I moved out here to Colorado 6 years ago, I went to work for an independent agency. Some of you actually know who that was. And I remember when I got hired, I was going to be their only producer. They literally did not have a producer before they hired me. And I was sitting in the conference room of their office about 2 weeks into my time there. And I said, so what's our marketing plan? And I literally got silence. And I said, what's our marketing plan? They didn't have one. So here I was in a new market. No one knew who I was. And now I'm working for somebody who didn't know what marketing is, which is more firms in this industry than you'll care to want to know. That moment, I had to create my personal brand. That moment, I had to start getting people to know who I was. And that is exactly what I'm about to teach you right now. Literally what I started doing to create the brand. Now, here's where it starts. First, you got to figure out who's in your tribe, guys. Now, this is a little mindset stuff here. Okay, this isn't so tactical, but you need to figure out who's in your tribe right now. Who are those people in your life that are lifting you up? Who are those people in your life that are sucking you down a little bit? And here's the thing, guys. I think you know the answer. Find the people who lift you up and spend more time with them, whether that's colleagues in the industry, people in your personal life. Figure out who those people are. And these folks, start limiting the time you spend with them. Now, I'm going to give you the hard advice here you don't want to hear. Sometimes this is your own family. And if people are there dragging you down, guys, especially right now, some people are taking this in stride and dealing with it. Some are letting what's happening right now literally control how they live their life. Surround yourself with the right energy right now. It is so important. Move ahead, Lester. The next thing you got to do is you got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your own growth. And I see it in our industry right now. I'm making some personal opinions, but everybody is, when they invest, it's all related to our insurance industry. More knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge. Guys, what I'm going to share with you right now, you don't need more knowledge. I promise you that. Everybody that's on this call, I see the names. You're pretty smart. You're pretty good at what you do. You need to focus on communication. You need to focus on how you're conveying your message and how you're connecting with people. That's where you need to spend your time on investments. Then it's mind body, guys. Right now, especially the mindset right now, you're working from home, you're in a new environment. Don't forget these two things. Got to keep them in peak shape. Next. And then plan for productivity, guys. I hear this so much right now from advisors about working from home. They don't feel as productive. You've got the distractions of your kids, your pets, your wife, your spouse, your husband, whoever that is. Guys, you've got to start working in smaller time blocks right now. Chunk your time to get less or get more done in less time. You have to do it right now. Move ahead, Lester. And then now let's get to the messaging. Those were just a little time hacks, a little personal hacks that I wanted to share with you for your mindset in the environment we are in right now. But now we need to start talking about your message. You heard me say this early. He or she who communicates the best and the most wins. But if your communication and what you're communicating is off, doesn't matter how often you communicate it. You have to have a good message. So let's talk about what goes in a solid message, a solid sales message right now. And I want you guys, when this webinar is over, to take the time to do this. In every story, guys, this is storytelling that is 2,000 years old. There is a hero. There is a character. Who is your target character? What does that person look like? Is it a CFO? Is it a controller, a CEO, HR director? Who is your target audience? Because in every story, move ahead, Lester, this hero has a desire. They want something. They have a goal they want to achieve. And then with every goal, move ahead, Lester, there's a challenge. What is preventing your target character from getting his or her goal? Because this is where you come into the story. With every challenge, a character needs a guide. You are the guide that is going to help that character overcome his or her challenge because you have a plan, and that plan is going to help the character, move ahead, Lester, succeed, but more importantly, Lester, move ahead, avoid failure. So my challenge to you right now is you have time, you're working from home, take the time to figure out who your ideal target is. What is it he or she wants? Guys, I promise you they don't go to work every day wanting better benefits. What does a CFO want? What does a CEO want when he or she goes to work every day? What's challenging them from getting there? How can you help be the guide to give them the plan to have success and avoid failure? You get that story down, guys. This is where it gets fun. Move ahead, Lester. Now you take that message and you create what I call the 5 pillars of awareness. Why? Move ahead, Lester. Number 1, how can you share that message with centers of influence? Who are the people in your life that can bring you business? The banker, the local CPA, attorneys, whoever. You need to be sharing that message with those centers of influences to get them bought into your message. The second one, Lester, social media. Guys, LinkedIn is where you need to be. The land grab on LinkedIn is still very ripe. If you were to go on other platforms right now, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's hard to get any attention there. LinkedIn, you still can get a lot of attention. You need to be taking your message and you need to be conveying it on LinkedIn. Now, guys, I'm not talking about taking articles and sharing them. I'm not talking about taking something Zywave posted and you share it. People want to see you. Lester talked about it earlier. Human connection is more important now than it's ever been. So get your face on social media, share content, bring value, and I promise more people will get to know you that way. The next one, Lester, the other way, email campaigns. Guys, start creating effective email campaigns. Now, right now may not be the best time for this because your clients are going through a lot of stuff, but maybe your emails right now are just conveyed at helping them. What can I do for you? But here's my key for you with emails. Type the email just like you would speak. I see so many people take so much time because they want to type the perfect email. Just think about how you would literally say it to somebody, and that's how you write the email. If Lester likes to call me dude, put the word dude in the email. But type the email just like you would speak. Make it human, make it sound like it comes from you. Number 4, Lester, webinars. No more important now than it's ever been, guys. We're all on them. This is the only way most of us can communicate. Use this time effectively to educate your prospects and clients via webinar. Now, here's something I will tell you. I just learned this myself. I didn't know it. My business coach told me this. Any of you feel a little more exhausted these days now that you're on webinars? Here's why. When you're on a webinar, you're giving off energy. Guess what? That laptop you're talking into is also giving off energy. And it's constantly going like this. So if you're sitting on webinars all day, you will be exhausted. You have to give yourself the space to take breaks during this time. You have to go outside, whatever you need to do to come back, recharge, because if you sit at your laptop all day long, your productivity is going to plummet. You need breaks now more than ever. And then last, Lester, this really isn't available right now, but public speaking, in my opinion, is the most effective way to communicate your story, communicate your message. So if you leverage these 5 pillars, guys, centers of influence, social media, emails, webinars, and public speaking, you will be communicating your message more than 10 of your competitors combined. More people will see your message. More people will know you. Therefore, more people can like you and trust you. Move ahead, Lester. So just go ahead. Yep. Here's why you need to do this, guys. This is the last piece of information I'll leave with you on this. When you communicate the most and the best, what you create is ERA. Now, back in my former career, ERA was a very important metric for me. It's called earn run average. The higher it was, the better chances I got fired. The lower it was, the better chances I got promoted. Your ERA, which is engagement with your prospects, better relationships with your prospects, and being an authority in your market, you want that puppy to be as high as it can be. Because putting yourself out there, communicating more than ever, more than your competitors, I promise you, will win you more opportunities than you are now, which gives you the chance to win more business. If you think about it this way, guys, if I'm holding a funnel that goes into a gas tank, coming out of the bottom of the gas tank, you want clients. In the gas tank is your pipeline. You want them coming out the bottom, right? But what most of you are missing right now is all this activity that's happening up here above the funnel. And that's those opportunities. If you use the 5 pillars of awareness, with the right message, you will create more opportunities than you have right now. I promise you, hands down. Lester, move ahead. I'm keeping it short and sweet for you guys. That was kind of to the point. But if you want to connect at all, there's my website, my phone number, email, my LinkedIn handle if we're not connected already. So feel free to reach out and ping me. Lester, with that, I'll turn it back over to you, man.
Man, Andy, I've heard you do that a couple of times. I still took a half a page of notes. So I really appreciate that. The number one thing I'm going to highlight from Andy, which I'm a big Gary Vee fan, and Andy knows this, the bring value part. Gary Vee has a term, jab, 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 right hook, or give, give, give. So many times I see people on social media just wanting to, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, and you're trying to sell. It's just not appropriate, especially at this time. So I couldn't agree with Andy more. Andy, thanks so much. Oh,
can I just say one quick thing on that, Lester?
Absolutely can.
Guys, one of the mindset challenges I see in the insurance industry is this fear that if I share something, my competitors will take it. Guys, I promise you, if you literally went on LinkedIn today and shared a strategy that you implement with your own clients, 98% of the other brokers that watch it are either too lazy to do anything about it, or they simply cannot do anything about it. So value, value, value.
Thanks, Andy. So guys, Andy talked about the external, like that you need more activity, that you need to be up sharing and providing value. Now our next speaker is going to give you one of the tools in your toolbox to provide what value you need to be providing. And I have only known her for exactly 72 hours because I saw her on LinkedIn and said, man, I need to reach out to her and have her on here, because literally a question that I got from one of my clients who's thinking about furlough versus layoff. I didn't know the answer. I social media connected with her, and here we go. So the power and speed of social media plus the power of providing value is what is going on right here. So Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lester. Okay, so I got my slides up there, but before we get really started, I want to say, and Lester, you can kind of go through the first two because I already introduced myself, but I do want to say that, you know, some of you, I saw the attendee list, so some of you, you already know me a little better than Lester and I know each other, and you know that I'm personally a huge reader, and I have this fantasy of someday writing a novel. Should probably get on that, but I one time tried to do this like November write a novel thing, and then, you know, my children and Thanksgiving got in the way and I didn't do it. But I bought this book and it was called No Plot, No Problem. That was what they advised you to start with. And so, you know, I love Andy's story about the storytelling. And here's the thing, I'm going to give you your plot and your hero. You're gonna brand it yourself and finish it yourself. But this presentation, I'm getting you a head start on what Andy told you to do. Okay, so I don't know about you. I live here in the Northeast in the Philadelphia area. Our schools are closed for the rest of the year. Just found that out, fun times. And we've been shut down. I haven't been able to go anywhere but the grocery store and to walk my dog for over a month. But some of you, that's not where you've quite been yet. But let me just tell you, if the virus hasn't spread to you really yet, it's coming. And so is the economic uncertainty. And Lester hinted at this in the beginning. If you don't think I'm telling the truth, let me just give you a few numbers and think about it. And I really actually hate scare tactics. That's not what I am about, but this is scary. So, you know, here's your problem, okay? This week, they just announced 6.6 million new unemployment claims. Last week, 6 million unemployment claims. Week before that, 3.3 million unemployment claims, plus all those people that were already unemployed before that, and all those people that just can't get through with the crash systems. So I'm not that great at math, but that's over 16 million people. Let's be optimistic and pretend that a third of them didn't have group insurance before. The employer-based system covered 175 million people in February. we've lost at least 10 million lives, guys, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And the hits are going to keep coming. So we already got to do something about that. So Lester, could you advance? Okay, so good news. Like, this is crisis time, but advisors have a big opportunity here. The federal government is pouring money into this. They want people to stay employed, and they have also invested very strongly and showed a huge vote of confidence in the employer-paid group health insurance system. There are opportunities out there to keep people employed and to keep group benefit plans going while we're all in low power mode. But this is your time to shine, guys, but it's also crisis time. We have to get out there and get to these groups. We need to be a little bit aggressive, have some uncomfortable conversations. Like, now is the time to reach out, build those relationships, 5 pillars. Like, we got to do it right now to understand those relief options. So I'm going to give you a really quick overview today of those options. And then we're going to have that opportunity next week to do this a lot more in detailed for your group clients. So invite them to be on that webinar. But I'm just giving you all enough information to be dangerous. You've got to do, step up a little bit more here. So Lester, if you would just click on the next one and then just keep clicking. I think it needs another click. Okay. So if you don't do this now, I kind of, like I already said, you're not going to have groups. And here's the thing. It's a lot of these programs are out there and people are hearing on the news about them, but they're also hearing, the websites are clashing, the banks aren't giving out the money, they're hearing it's only for small businesses. They're thinking maybe it only affects like the airlines or, the troubled businesses. They say Steve Mnuchin is like doing something weird with the money. Like, it's all kinds of crazy information out there. In reality, there is a lot of help out there. And we have to stop the bleeding because this money is there to stop the bleeding, but we have to tell people about it, and we need to be strategic and proactive because, again, if we don't, our companies that we work with and all those employees, they're going to become COVID-19 casualties too, even if they don't have the virus. They're going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose their benefits. And, if we don't have employees, we don't have an economy, we don't have revenue ourselves. So let's move on here and I'll give you a quick overview. Okay, so here are some things you need to know. All right, there's 3 federal relief laws so far, and there is at least one more coming. And you may have heard on the news that, the Senate like packed up its bags, they fought with each other, they went home to dye Easter eggs or have Seder, I don't know. But they're coming back, okay? There's gonna be more money coming, don't worry about that. They're just cranky. So the first bill, don't worry about it, $8.3 billion of funding for hospitals and stuff. Second one, Families First Coronavirus Response Act, terrible name, but anyway, the important things about that is it's what's, making everybody cover the testing without cost sharing. But what we're talking about now is that emergency paid leave, and it is for employees, but it's just as good for employers. People don't realize that. And then the third bill is the CARES Act. And that is the really, big money one, $2 trillion plus. And there are 3 main business relief programs we're going to talk about. That's where the stimulus checks and the unemployment are coming from. And bonus, we got some good changes to account-based plans. And that's going to be amazing if we can keep the market together. But we're not going to talk about that now because we don't have time. If you couldn't tell, I'm doing my best Jersey girl, like fast talking, because I'm from Dirty Jersey and I can do that. All right, CARES Act. 3 programs. Again, we'll talk about this more with your employer clients, but there's the Paycheck Protection, Emergency Economic Disaster Loans, and Employee Retention Credits. All of these things are designed to keep people employed, keep people insured, and bring them back to work, even if we are in low power mode and employers maybe essentially paying people and giving them benefits to do very little work because they can't because their doors are closed. That's what this is for. This is economic survival, and it's coming from our government, but we have to get people accessed and keep them insured. Okay, so let's go to the first one. PPP, Paycheck Protection Loan Program. People get scared about this for a couple reasons. One, it's already out there. It started last Friday. This is the one where they're like doing all the news stories about how the banks are not moving fast enough and the SBA is messing up and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think that there's definitely some hiccups. but the money is flowing. I am hearing from banks. I'm hearing from loan officers. I think some banks are a little better than others, but it's coming out there. You know, these employers, a lot of them got to April, but they're not going to make it through May without some type of relief. And this is one of the big ones. So this applies to businesses with 500 or less employees. But the thing is, there's some special rules for people with a 72 code for their industry code, which is hotels, franchises, restaurants. They get to count it on a per location basis. And then there's also a kind of higher threshold for some high cost industries. So like rule of thumb, 500 or less, but there may be some advantages for those like hard hit industries. And they get, it's pretty good, you know, up to 250% of their payroll. If they use it, they have to bring back the people. They have to have the people on the payroll or keep them insured, but you can use it for your payroll, your benefits, all your real estate costs like your mortgage or your rent or utilities. You can also use it for other SBA loans, like for supplies, inventory and stuff like that. You get full forgiveness for 8 weeks for the money you spend on payroll, benefits, rent, utilities, and mortgage. And it's a 4% interest rate for the rest. It's deferred payments and it's a federal guarantee. So let's move to the next one. Okay, another one, this is just quick cash infusion. Again, applies to the same group of people, up to 500 employees, including sole proprietors. And you can get 10K within 3 days at the bank. And it's, you know, oh, and for the PPP, one thing that really needs your help on, not only just knowing about it, they're gonna need their benefit cost information for last year to get the loan. So they're gonna need information from you to move forward on it. Economic industry and disaster loans, a much easier application. You should be getting it within 3 days. It can be viewed as a bridge to the PPP loan, or you can just use it as a standalone if they just need a cash infusion, or you can get both. You just kind of have to use the money for separate purposes, and it can also be forgiven, free money. It's not a loan, it's a grant. If you use it for payroll, sick leave, benefits, mortgage, rent, stuff like that. Next one. Okay, this last one, you know, some people keep thinking it's only for small businesses. No, the employee retention tax credit is for businesses of all sizes. And this does not require any application or a bank. You can just get the money really quickly. Now to qualify, you do have to fall into like one of these affected categories. The other two, you don't really have to be affected by COVID-19. The assumption is everybody is. These you do have to, you know, certify that you either are subject to a partial or full suspension order for some of your workplaces or your work operations due to COVID-19, or that your gross receipts went down 50% from last year's same quarter. But that's a huge swath of American companies, especially the closure orders. You get 50% of qualifying wages, which includes benefits. So it's up to $10,000. So it's really $5,000 that you can use to keep people employed. Back dates so that you can bring people back if you need to. And it's immediately accessible because you just claim it against your payroll taxes. And if you don't pay enough payroll tax to get them, you know, to get all the money that you're due, you can actually file a form and the IRS will deposit you the rest of the money right away. So no application, quick infusion. The only thing is you can't double dip. You can't do this and the PPP. So you got to pick one or the other, and doing the math, one might be better than the other for you. Okay. Last like big program type thing to know about is these emergency paid leave provisions, and they really help you and the employer and the employees. So it also pays less than 500 employees, because the federal government is super fun. They actually use different counting standards than the other one, but you know, again, less than 500 employees, rule of thumb. It's just for this year, and it gives paid leave to the employees for sick leave and then emergency FMLA leave. But the thing is, you hear paid leave and the employers freak out and they think they have to, you know, finance this. No, they get all the money back on their payroll taxes, not only for what they're paying out in the leave benefits for wages, but also for all their benefit costs while these people are out. So The sick leave is 2 weeks, and it covers all different kinds of COVID-related events, including people actually being sick with it or being stuck at home, or if you need to care for a relative or a child that's school's closed. And if you're caring for somebody else, it's 2/3 of your pay. If it's you really are sick yourself or subject to it yourself, that's full for 2 weeks. And then this emergency FMLA leave is for all employees that have been with you for 30 days. The sick leave just applies pretty much to anybody. Like they have to have no ramp up time or whatever, part-time people too. But the FMLA, you have to have been there a month. So if you've laid somebody off, you can't bring them back for this. Exactly, they have to be back 30 days, but that gives them 2/3 pay to care for their kids for 10 weeks, 10 weeks of paid leave, 12 weeks off total, because of these school closures. So, and again, they get their benefits, and you get an advanceable tax credit right off of your payroll taxes. So you can get the money right back, same as the retention credit. So advance, please. All right, and then this is like the last resort option, but I know a lot of people have done it as first resorts. So I want to just cover this quick too. So we are hearing constantly about layoffs and furloughs. So I'm going to start with layoffs, because this is a term that everybody knows. It has precedence. When you lay people off, there's no expectation of rehire. These people are termed. They don't have benefits anymore. They've got a COBRA state qualifying state continuation qualifying event. They can go to the marketplace and get coverage, even if their marketplace isn't open. They get an SEP for it. You can give them some severance or COBRA assistance, but they're going on unemployment, and those people are off the benefit plan. Those are termed people, and you recover from this. You're not going to get them back. Furlough is interesting because it's not a legal term for employee benefits. It's really just kind of a COVID made up euphemistic term. What it really is an involuntary leave of absence. And it's the employer desperately trying to tether people to them, because when they recover, they want these people back. Now, depending on how it's done and your benefit plan and the people that underwrite the benefit plan, however you structure it, we're actually seeing now relaxation of rules and letting people continue to maintain eligibility on the group benefit plan, even though they're not working any hours. That is happening a lot. So, but the furlough is to keep them tethered and maybe still let them be on the group benefit plan while they have no hours. Not paying them, they could still go on unemployment, but at least they're on the group benefit plan. Now, this does raise some issues about how we're going to fund the employee share. Now, a lot of employers are actually just covering their employee share, because there are some options to get the money from the employees, but honest to God, they all suck. And so if there's any way possible that the employer can cover it, it actually makes it easier for everybody. And, really actually does tether the employee to the employer, because they're grateful. And when this is all over, they might not be mad that they were unemployment, they had no hours. I mean, they'll still be upset, but, there's at least a stronger tie. So that is an option too. But again, there's tricks to it. So I'm just giving you enough to be dangerous here, but I want to make sure you understand these options. So last slide, we're getting to the end here. I know this is a lot, so I just want to give you some resources. This is a free resource. I write this blog with my friend Jen Berman, so that's how you subscribe to it. We are updating it as much as we can with all of the details on this, so it does give you free content to explain it. I will say we're doing it as fast as we can while we're doing our other jobs and advising employers and brokers, so it's a little behind. So we're still working on getting the care stuff up, but keep checking it, because we're adding to it every day, or as much as we can. And then, other help available, there's, me and other people like me, but some of the services that we have available, I hate making this a commercial, but I think you need some help. So I'm going to shamelessly plug, I have some limited time, limited space available, but if you need comprehensive webinars for your employer clients on this type of stuff, that's something we could talk about it. Also, answering your clients' questions via email or conference call, that's also something that we could talk about. If you need some written stuff to help them explain the new options and breaking developments, because more stuff is coming, Or if you just need some coaching and some direct education and you want to say, okay, like let's schedule an hour or so, Jessica, and you chat with me, you explain it, you help me answer these questions so I can turn around and educate people, that is an option too. So that's my contact information if you want to talk about it later.
Thank you, Jessica. I know I've talked to you now 3 times and I wrote down stuff. So guys, I'm gonna remind everybody the Q&A feature is there. And so if you have any questions, we've got 3 questions in queue right now, and I'm getting text messages by the second. It's a problem of giving people your cell phone number. So I'm gonna go first question for you and Jessica. This is a question about a portfolio company. So private equity owned portfolio company. Is the private equity owned eligible for any of these programs? So is the private equity company eligible for the program? 1, and I guess 2, is the employer down underneath it because it is owned by or co-owned or invested in by a private equity company? Would they be eligible for these programs?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So the counting rules are different for the different programs. Like, unfortunately, it's like, you know, why? So it's really going to depend on applying those different counting standards. But, you know, the equity, so I mean, I don't know how many employees they have asked themselves as the equity firm, but generally they're standing alone. You know, it's different than the counting rules. Most of it's different than the counting rules for your, like a lot of us are familiar for like being an applicable large employer. They're using it where you use control groups or like your Form 5500. So it's not that way for this mostly, but they're just different counting standards. So we could talk about that, you know, with like, I just need a little more detail.
Got it. And I know who the person writing it in, so I will tell him we can connect with you. And I will plug next week's webinar as well. One more question for you, and then Andy, I'm going to finish with you with the questions. This is a selfish question, Jessica, for me. I actually have an employer who is teetering between layoff and furlough. And a couple of questions that I got that I could not answer was, 1, if they do want to, and to your point, the administrative process of collecting the premiums while they're on furlough is a big pain in the rear. So let's just assume that they're going to take that pain in the rear process. A question that I was asked was around, does the employee then get a qualifying event? Meaning like, hey, you just stopped paying me. I am now going to be furloughed for 2 months. You're going to keep my benefits. I appreciate it. I owe $100 a month. You want that $200 over that 60-month period of time. Can I get a timeout before I go on furlough and say I don't want benefits for that 2 months? How does that work?
Okay, so a couple of issues here. So, all right, so when typically you could get a qualifying event, you know, for a COBRA and a cafeteria plan, qualifying event to stop your contributions, your pre-tax contributions, because you've had a reduction in hours and you're no longer eligible for the group benefit plan. Now, in this case, they're trying to keep you, they have, first of all, the plan had to amend its eligibility criteria to make these furloughed people eligible. And they've had to amend the carrier contracts with like whoever's underwriting the benefits. So like, let's assume that the plan has already adjusted its own criteria. Then you have to look at the cafeteria plan. They may have some trouble, you know, depending on how they've written the qualifying events. Now, if the plan is no longer affordable to them, then that may be a way out if they're going to go to the marketplace. I have seen employers being kind of creative with these cafeteria plan elections. I also think that there's some relative risk to letting people off. But again, you're then losing them from the benefit plan. So another issue, and I think that we had talked about this before, is what happens if they are an ALE, and like, do they have any issues relative to the Affordable Care Act? So interesting, like the Affordable Care Act, like I said before, furlough is basically a fake term that we've made up for this. We've applied, a real word, but we've made it fit this situation. So there's like no anticipation of furlough in the ACA and the employer employer mandate rules at all. So you're either an active employee or you are not. And so the issue is if somebody is in a stability period, you have to work enough to be a full-time employee to be in the prior year to be offered benefits. But then once they're in a stability period, if they're a variable hour employee or that you use that counting method, the next year you offer those people benefits regardless of what they work if their hours went down. So if somebody in a month works like 2 hours, then they still have to be offered benefits relative to the employer group plan. And then, but if they're no hours, they're not an active employee. Right. So they're off. You're not counting them for employer mandate purposes for that month. So they're going to be coded that way when you do your reporting. So your liability changes depending on what they got offered. And then you also want to look at your affordability criteria. And then if you rehire those people when they come back, you're going to have to follow the rehire rules relative to the employer mandate.
Yep. So what I heard there is clear as mud. So thank you.
I know, right?
So we're going to talk more, and I will plug. That is why next week's webinar is super important. I have talked to her 3 times. So make sure your clients and your prospective clients know about next week. So I'm going to catch us up a little bit. We're running a little bit behind. So Andy, I'm going to ask you to do your parting shot and answer this question in the middle of your parting shots. So I got a question via text and says, what if I'm an introvert? I don't like putting my face on the screen. I don't like putting my name out there. I'm an introvert. How do I expand my brand? Because I'm a nerdy person. I'm going to put that word in. I know the person, so I'm okay with using that word. I'm a nerdy person. My expertise, my brand is the number crunching and the expertise. It's not necessarily the sales and marketing, and that's what they're thinking. So do that for me, and then give me your parting shot.
Yeah, so quickly, my advice there is think about the 3 mediums we communicate with, like social media, video, audio, and written. If you don't like video, by no means don't do video. But if you like writing a blog or something you could bring the written content to, absolutely. I would even challenge you, a quick tip, why not do audio? If you don't like putting your face out there, you could still provide some great tips by having people hear your voice. Here's the easiest way to do it. If you go on Zoom and you record yourself just like we are right now, Zoom automatically provides you an MP4, which is the video, and they provide you an MP3, which is the audio. You could take that audio and literally paste it on LinkedIn right now or wherever, and just share the audio of whatever it is you said. So easy, super easy. It's not like super professionally done. Who cares? It's the content that comes out of your mouth that matters. So my parting shot to you guys is this. He or she who communicates the best is going to win the most. That I know I've said that a lot. Here's what I want to leave you with, though. Don't fear what others think by putting your content out there. Show up consistently with your content. There's a lot of pandemic warriors out there right now posting all the time because we're going through rough times. They will be gone when this pandemic ends. You want to be the one that's consistently bringing value and consistently being and educating everybody. And if you're patient enough, it will pay off.
That's awesome.
So consistency, persistency, and patience.
Consistency, persistency, and patience. Say that 10 times fast. Thank you, sir. Miss Jessica, your parting shots.
Okay. I don't have 3 cute words, but I will say this. This is your time to shine, guys. We need you more than ever, but you're going to need to do all these things that Andy's telling you to do. You are going to need to, and you're also going to need to educate yourself, because I know he said you know everything, but this stuff is new. So you need to educate yourself a little bit about this particular thing, and then we can all rescue the economy and the employer-based system if you guys reach out now. And there is a lot of help available from the federal government, from other people, but you have to be that lifeline too for your clients and their employees, and really for yourself right now.
Thank you so much, Jessica. So my parting shots, I really think this is really, really simple. The answer lies with everybody on this phone and everybody who's going to hopefully read this afterwards. If we don't make our own minds up that this is our business to save, whether this is short term and helping, to Jessica's point, people get through the tough times, or if this is long-term with the fact that healthcare costs can't continue to rise like they are, and providing solutions that are actually going to do so. So the reality of it is, again, I'm going to quote my buddy Jim Blachak, without any employees, we have no business. We owe it to the business itself, and how easy that is when you look outside of your office and you see your own employees. Picture the love that you have for them. Every day you wonder what it is that you need to do. That is your why. I know it's why I'm on this call. It's why I work so hard, is to make sure that I can continue to provide a job and a livelihood for my own employees. Be bold. This is no time to sit back and just, this is a time where if you've ever had that desire to step outside and color outside the lines, color outside the damn lines right now. And push yourself. And the reality of it is, if this ends up and you look at the end of this year and your book shrunk and you're down several $100,000 and you had to make pay cuts and you had to lay people off, it's your damn fault. It's your damn fault. That's all I can say. There are programs out there. I have filed for some of these programs myself. I didn't know they were all available, so I will be doing that. But the reality of it is, get up and get out and do something different. And I can assure you it will pay dividends. The last plug I'm going to have is, again, next week, the same exact time, about the same exact subjects, with the two amazing speakers that we have on, with a slight twist of how this is applicable to your clients. So you don't feel comfortable having this conversation with your clients? Let us have the conversation with your clients. All you need to do is get them on the phone. So you will get a follow-up from this. If you want to participate and be able to invite your clients and your prospects and make it look like you participated and actually did this, please let me know. Email me, text me, snail mail, smokestack, I don't care what it is, but you will get a follow-up. You could also put your contact information there. It is a slight plug, but I can honestly 100% tell you, I make $0 off of this. So I can promise you that that is not the case. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. Take care of your body. What Andy said could not be more truer right now in regards to, you're sitting down, the refrigerator is right there. It's so easy to get to. Take care of yourself, take care of your minds, and take care of each other. We owe it to the business to band together right now and help each other out. So thanks so much for participating, guys. 1 minute early. Have a great day. For my wonderful speakers, I salute you and I appreciate you, and we will talk soon, guys. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you so much.